One of the main features that is available in the Pro plan, which is not available in the Starter plan, is the ability to work with numerical fields and to display data. So how do we work with numerical fields in the depositional analog atlas? You can select a field. So let us play with, for example, the mean spring tidal range field in our example. The first thing that you can do with every numerical field is set the range. You can do this by using a slider. You can see that the color of the field changes to yellow. This means that we have activated the field. So you can set the ranges interactively by using these sliders if you like. Alternatively, you can also directly enter numbers in this numerical field. So if I were to change 11.45 to 3 in this case, now we have narrowed down the tidal range. If you look at the map on the right hand side, if I change the number to 1, the upper tidal range to 1, and if I activate the filter by clicking in the blank yellow space adjacent to the numbers, you would see that many of the fields will disappear. Many of the polygons on the right hand side of the map will disappear. So if I were to refresh the filter now, you would see that the polygons would come back. So this is how we would work with all filters in terms of data selection. The next thing that you can do with these filters is then using these histogram and crossplot buttons. Let us start off with the histogram button. So for every field you can plot a histogram. So if I were to click on the button, you would see that a pop-up window would appear, which would give us a histogram summary of the field we just selected. So in this case, we have a total of 332 systems with tidal range on them. We can see what the mean spring tidal range is. It's 2.3 meters in the database. We have a minimum value, we have a maximum value, and then we have a distribution. We can change the bin size. So if we don't like the bin size, which is 2 in this case, we can easily update this to 1. So we can set the increment value to 1. We would press on the update button, and then we can also set the maximum vertical axis value. So in this case, if we change this to 110, we can make the plot look a bit better. Something else that we can then very easily do is, for example, if we are more interested in what is the distribution between, let us say, 0 and 3 meters in terms of tidal range, what we have to do is we have to close the pop-up window. We can set the upper value over here to 3. So now we have limited our search to only systems with a tidal range between 0 and 3 meters. We would once again click on the histogram button so we can see what the detailed distribution of tidal ranges between 0 and 3 meters is. Once again, we can update both the bin size and the maximum value so that we can get a better plot display. So this is how we would work with all histograms, with all numerical fields. This is how we narrow down the searches, and this is how we can display the data. Play around with these numbers, see how, for example, the values of fluvial gradients change, shelf gradients change. These are one of the main ways in which we can interrogate the data, and we can try to understand and improve our subsurface analogs. The next video would go over how we use the adjacent button to the histogram button. How do we show cross plots in the depositional atlas?